Well, thank you and welcome to everybody. To those of you that don't know me, my name is Mike Doyle. Full-time member out here. I've been here over 10 years in the club and really enjoy living out here. Prior to retiring just recently, I worked for a big public corporation. I had a corporate job and spent years running budgets and managing people and the process and everything. I did the same thing in some small companies, and I think that those kind of skills lend themselves to being involved in any organization, which we have here, which is a several $1 million operation, and we need to try and track our money in the process and everything that's going on with it. I'm married to Donna. My wife is out here somewhere, and we have kids and grandkids that come out here all the time. And one of the reasons that we like living here is that it's a nice place to come to, and we have nice facilities and nice pools, and we've been involved in it because we want to try and help keep them that way. And to do that, you have to be active and participate, which we try and do. I did a lot of thinking when I retired about getting involved with the club and everything, the different committees that I've been involved in. And when I've been looking at the board, it was kind of a decision about why do I want to do this. And I think that if we're going to be involved in something, you have to be active and you have to participate. You have to be part of the process. That's how you get involved, and that's how you help make things move forward. I live here and I want to contribute to it, and I think that I've got a background that helps lend itself towards running these kinds of operations and being involved in the process of doing it. And that's why I decided that I would run for the board after being involved in the different committees. I've been the chair of the House Committee for the past couple of years. That's basically the group that runs all the facilities here. Anything that isn't the golf course is managed by the House Committee. The inn, this building, all the common areas. Those are the places that we've been taking care of and trying to improve. I've been on the Finance Committee for the past couple of years. It's where all the budgets are developed and all the things that we do that we have to figure out how we're going to operate the club and where we're going and what we're going to be able to spend on things. And on the Declarations Committee, that sort of is the rules repository of everything that we do with running the club. There's been a number of processes and projects that we've been involved in this year that I think help with where the club is going. We developed some new air conditioning units and stuff down in the inn down here that we replaced last year. Saved us a boatload of money operating the inn. We put new carpet in, we've raised the rates, and the occupancy rates are up. So we're taking one of our existing facilities, making it better and making more money doing it. We've changed out some of the air conditioning units on this building where we're going to new units that cut energy consumption by 20 or 30% so that we're able to maintain the conditions inside the building and doing it at a rate that's saving us a lot of money in our electric bill. Electric out here is hugely expensive, so anything we can do to cut that helps us out. The Finch project that, as part of myself and Richard Creed, were asked to manage that process and get it done. We were spending $15,000 or $18,000 a year painting a rusted, rotten old fence that looked like crap every year after we spent $18,000 to do it. We spent $25,000. We have a fence that'll last 30 years. We don't have to do anything except repair where the drunks hit, which is a lot cheaper than it would be if it was metal. But again, that saves us, $20,000 we save a year on that. And it's, the kind of tack that, I've kind of taken when I look at this stuff is that if we can save $10,000 here, save $15,000 there, save $10,000 somewhere else, pretty soon it turns into real money. And that if we're able to control and reduce our operating expenses, it allows us to keep taking care of the club without having to raise dues or have special assessments or anything. I think that the things that we've done, I think, are helping the club with the different committees that we've been involved in. I've been happy to try and do that and help push that process forward. The club owns a condominium. I don't know if many of you knew that, but one that we ended up with when we sued to get back dues and assessments. We've been carrying the thing for several years. This year we implemented a program where we got the condo renovated. We have it rented out now, so it's a $10,000 swing to the club. So we're making money now instead of just spending money. And again, it's one of those little things that if somebody just takes the time and the effort and the energy to do it, it helps us out and it helps us save money. So when I look at that, I think those are the things that I've been involved in and what we've been doing trying to move the club forward. The challenges that we face here, I think the biggest one that we've got to we've got a club and an operation right now that's financially sound. I think that we need to do everything we can to keep it that way. There's a lot of clubs out here that are struggling and we're not. And it's because we've had good fiscal discipline and we have a due structure and everything that's adequate. I think that we need to continue to do everything we can to mitigate any kind of cost increases through reducing operating expenses and controlling how we spend our money. If we're wise with it, then we can, do everything we can to control having to raise dues or assessments. I think that's important. I think that if there was one thing here, and probably like many of you, I think we need to continue to improve the service and the food delivery in the restaurant. That's been a challenge. I think it's gotten better, but it's still something that I think that's, to me, probably the biggest spot we need help. And I'm continue to be active in that one, both as an eater and as as an eater and as a hopefully as a board member. But so I think that's the biggest one. And I think if there was one other thing that I would single out as the biggest thing that we need to change and improve at the club is member participation and member involvement. And I mentioned I'm on several of the committees here. I come to a lot of the board meetings. This is more people than I've seen anywhere other than Friday night at happy hour. And it's important that you get involved. And it's the reason I got involved. But it's important that you get involved. And I think that too frequently involvement here tends to be 4 or 5 beers and sitting in the bar pissing and moaning about stuff that is done without accurate information. Everybody wants to criticize the operations, criticize our financial process here, and make allegations about how we budget, how we run the club. We had, I think, 9 or 10 4-hour, 5-hour budget meetings over a 3-month period. The biggest crowd we had was one time, I think we had 3 people over 2 months and 40 hours, and everybody says, well, you just spend money willy-nilly and make stuff up. And I find it just really irritating when I hear that kind of stuff go on out there. If you want to know what's going on in the club and you want to participate, get involved. Don't sit in there and piss and moan and yell.
Right.
Get involved.
Okay. Some of the questions that we have.
You want to borrow mine?
Hello, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Speak.
Okay, all candidates expressed their interest in cutting spending. How and where would you cut spending?
I think the biggest spot that we can control it probably is in the restaurant, some of the items that go on in there. And I guess items that we don't need to look at doing to maintain the club. There's always stuff that's coming up that are kind of wish list items. And sometimes there are things that we need to do right now. And I've had people ask me about why are we replacing air conditioning now? It's not broken yet. Well, you have to do it because if we do it on a plan that's going to be 30% cheaper than when you call an air conditioning company up and say, I need to change it tomorrow. So I think it's controlling when we do things and how we do them and how we bid them out. That's the biggest spot I think we can cut cost.
How would you maintain and improve club facilities, and which improvements would you give priority to?
I think when you look at what we have here as a community, I think the 2 biggest assets we have are the golf course and the clubhouse. And I think that the plans right now to improve the golf course, I think, are needed, and I think they're going to be helpful to giving us a good long-term place to live. And I think the other major project that we have going now is looking at redoing some of the stuff out by the pool. And I think that we can fund those things over several years, so we're not looking at assessments to do it. And I think that those create a better environment for us and for our kids and our grandkids and everybody that comes to visit here. So I think those are the 2 main things we need to continue to move forward with personally.
And your last question will be, how do we encourage people to vote when ballots are sent out, even if they have to just check off quorum, or so that we do not have to incur extra expense which can run more than $3,000 by rescinding the same ballots?
I think that, one of the things I mentioned was be involved, and it's both being involved in terms of coming to committee meetings. It's all just being involved, just voting on things. I think that the one spot that we can really improve at the club is The communications committee, I think, has just been reconstituted, and they're getting a lot of things running. I think that committee can be key in terms of pushing out information to the members about what's going on and items that are going to be of interest to everybody, and also the need to participate by voting. And if it becomes a site that everybody goes to because there's always good information, then I think that will encourage people to come and to participate. And voting is participation.
Okay, are there any questions? Okay. Christina?
Hopefully I can ask this of all the candidates. While you've been going through your candidacy and talking to the members, not what is your top 2 priorities, but what are you finding are the top priorities of the membership themselves? What are they questioning you the most on?
I think the biggest question I've continually got is that everybody's worried that we're going to go cheap and stop maintaining the club and the facilities. I hear a lot of feedback about how everybody wants to not spend a penny and cut costs and don't do anything. And that typically tends to be up here where I spend probably too much time. But when I'm out on the golf course and just talking to people, everybody I've talked to, everybody wants this place to be nice. They want to spend the money to maintain and improve it. And everybody's worried that we're not going to do that and that it's going to turn into a junk heap.
Any other questions?
Mike, you say that you want to get more involvement. How would you recommend getting more involvement into the committees and into the club in general?
Every committee meeting that we have to post an agenda 2 or 3 or 4 days in advance of the meeting. There's a schedule or a calendar that's in the club website that says Wednesday is the finance committee or Wednesday's declarations or house committee or anything. Read those, figure out what's your hot button. I mean, if you're concerned about the finances and how the restaurant's running, come to a couple of meetings and you can see the process we go through to budget those and how we manage the expenses and what we're spending. But the information's there, it takes somebody to sit down, read the information and say, I want to be involved, I'm going to go to the finance meeting, or I'm going to go to the pool and rec meeting and find out why we're really talking about doing that, or why we're doing the exercise classes. But it's all there. It's up to you. I mean, I did the same thing. I couldn't do it for years because I had to work. Now I'm not working at a regular job, so I got involved because I had the time. So you have to make the effort to go get involved. You can't force feed it.
Okay, anybody else? Ann?
I have a question I'd like to ask everybody,
Then we're
and I know you're the wrong one to ask this question, but I want to know what you would do about the front entrance. To me, it looks like we forgot to put the horses out to pasture. It's a hodgepodge of ugly, and I don't think that's any way to welcome people to our community.
Thank you for that comment. I think that, okay, she's asking what we're,
Okay. The question is, what are you going to do about the front entrance? I think it's a hodgepodge of ugliness and
Okay, well,
no way to welcome people to our community.
can I respond to that now?
Yeah.
Okay, a couple things, because I was involved in that process. Some of it was driven by the water agency trying to control water costs. We talked a lot about extending those nice brick walls. We have like the perimeter walls, putting those up, which I think a lot of people go, oh, those would be wonderful. It's about $60,000 to do it. Everybody is complaining about the fact that we're spending $9 on napkins. And to come back with an unbudgeted expense of $60,000 to put those walls in, I think that everybody out here would have pitchforks and torches right now at a board election meeting. I think it would look a lot better doing that. We need to find a year that we can get 50 or 60 grand to put the walls up. And then I think everybody would support it. But it's just, where do we get the money? And is that a priority we need to do tomorrow, or is that one we can do in 2 years? And I don't know the answer, but I mean, that was what we faced when we looked at doing it.
Okay, that is all the questions we'll be able to take, and thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate it.
Thank you, and get involved. That's how we do it.